Well, my friends, here's a piece of Android news that I never thought I would ever be covering, but crazy enough, it seems like somehow, someway, Google got Apple's signature AirDrop feature working on both iPhones and Android devices. And as someone that's been around since the very beginning of this iPhone versus Android battle, this has to be one of the most aggressive power plays I've seen from Google that could very well have huge implications for the future of Android. So real quick, I'm going to break down this whole AirDrop situation and tell you everything you need to know. I'll show you how to use it, and I'll give you an entire rundown on what's going on because, frankly, it's a massive story and as a whole is a pretty huge deal for Android. And of course, if you want to stay up to date with all this Google news, please stick around and subscribe to the 9 to 5 Google YouTube channel because we have so much content in the works and I don't want you to miss out on any of it. So getting right into it, as of November 20th, Google somehow got Apple's AirDrop feature working with Android devices. And I have to say, this has been a major pain point in the Android versus iPhone wars. For the past decade, AirDrop has been one of Apple's most powerful lock-in tools to the ecosystem, creating a walled garden environment where sharing media with iPhone to iPhone was always super seamless with high-quality transfer results. But with iPhone to Android, you typically needed a third-party app or service, something definitely not built into the OS, which just added that extra piece of friction that could easily be angled as inferior, even though it is an artificial limitation, not a technical one. And I think for a long time, everyone on either iPhone or Android has just been stuck putting up with it, much like RCS before that change was implemented. Like, yeah, there were some workarounds like local send, or for me, just sending an attachment via email, but there was no real modern, built-in solution to this issue. So needless to say, when Google announced the Pixel 10s would be compatible with AirDrop starting on November 20th, it marked a milestone that might put this long-standing problem to bed for good. Thankfully for you guys, we do have it running on our Pixel devices, so if you have a Pixel 10, I'll show you how to get it working, and after I'll talk a little bit about the impact that this will have on the Android community as well. First things first, this feature will be debuting and starting with the Pixel 10 series, as I've mentioned a few times now. Keep in mind, this is one of the benefits of having the newest Pixel device. You do get priority of these new additions over other Android manufacturers, so it's just something that I want you to keep in mind in the future. I feel like I say this a lot in my reviews, and this is just another real-world example of that and something to put on your radar. Second, there are a few steps you need to take on your Pixel 10 to get everything working seamlessly. For one, make sure you're on the latest Google Play System Update, which you can find in Settings, System, Software Updates, and then tap on Google Play System Update. Then all you have to do is enable a new Quick Share extension made possible by this latest Play System Update, and you can do this by going to Settings, tap on your Google account, click on the All Services tab, scroll down to System Services, and then under the Privacy and Security menu, turn on that Quick Share extension if it's not already. If for some reason that Quick Share extension hasn't showed up, I would take a few more steps, like making sure you're on the latest OS version, security update, and I would update all of your Google apps in the Play Store for good measure. In my particular case, I did also have to wait about 24 hours after following all of these steps, so just be prepared for that if the Quick Share extension doesn't show up immediately. Finally, after all that, reboot your device, which should complete everything you need to do on the Pixel side of things. For iPhone users, all they have to do is set your AirDrop to show to everyone for 10 minutes, and you should probably also do that with your Android device as well. And if everything is done correctly, you should see iOS devices showing up in the Quick Share menu and vice versa on iPhone. And it is actually a really weird, surreal feeling to see these two working together so well. I've been playing around with the feature quite a bit just to test it out, and I've sent files from iPhone to Android, Android to iPhone, and most importantly to me, Android to Mac. Aside from a few times where neither device detected each other for some reason, it has worked perfectly fine actually. It seems to be just as seamless as it would be transferring things from iPhone to iPhone, whether you're sending photos, videos, or audio files. It is absolutely beautiful to see here. Especially as someone that uses a MacBook on the daily for work, paired with an Android phone, I feel like AirDrop was the only real Apple ecosystem feature that I truly longed for, which is now completely resolved thanks to this power play from Google. And while all this is an absolute win for Android, it does make me wonder how things are going to play out in the future. For one, Google did not partner with Apple on this. Google explicitly confirmed that it was not a collaboration of any sort and that Google engineered this entirely on their own. To me, this is giving the same kind of vibes as the Get the Message campaigns Google released with RCS. Logically, why would you not want iPhone and Android to talk together seamlessly in this way, it's only a benefit for everybody in the tech space. And I think in a way, Google is trying to bait Apple here into either openly blocking it or supporting it directly, pretty much directly entering the iOS territory to see what's going to happen, at least in my eyes. That said, Google has made it known they would welcome collaboration opportunities with Apple in the future, and to me this does more in confirming the obvious that Google wants to win over iPhone users when it comes to Pixel, and I don't necessarily blame them, with making great strides in breaking that barrier between iPhone and Android functionality. And I like this a lot actually, and I can't wait for it to come to more Android phones. Also, we will have to see how Apple will respond. I personally think it puts them in a tight spot if you ask me. Of course, Apple doesn't want Android to have access to AirDrop if they can help it. It destroys that whole ecosystem lock-in angle where you can seamlessly use your Android phone alongside your Mac or iPad. And I think it does show that Android phones can be those devices that work just as seamlessly together like iPhones do. So here's to hoping Apple won't shut this down due to quote-unquote security reasons. But to be fair, Google is being proactive with these security concerns here, going through extreme lengths to make this an airtight case. According to their publicly facing blog post, they built this entire implementation using Rust, which is a memory-safe system programming language that is effectively immune to the most common types of memory attacks that hackers use to break into devices. On top of that, they hired NetSpeed, which is a third-party security firm, to validate the integrity of the system. They actually found that Google's implementation is to be, quote, notably stronger than the industry standard, and they even got a quote from a Stanford cryptography expert, Dan Bone, and they also note the visible to everyone in 10 minutes setting is a peer-to-peer connection that never touches a third-party server. And listen guys, I'm obviously not a cybersecurity expert by any means, so with all of this information, we really just have to take Google's word for it. I will say, it sounds like they did intense research on the matter, and even better, it sounds like they're willing to stand by it. And in general, I really love that they're proactively trying to cut off Apple's security excuse, and we'll just have to wait and see how things play out. At the end of the day, I have nothing but good things to say about this move. I think this is a win for everyone, except for Apple, which to me is still a complete win in my book. It sets a new precedent that Android can be seamless as well. It sets a precedent that the iPhone/Android barrier is breaking, or maybe a little bit played out these days. And it also does set the precedent as to why the Google Pixel brand is so important, because Google can use it as a vessel to gain momentum on behalf of the entire Android ecosystem. So honestly, good work Google in bringing AirDrop to Android. I'm really excited to see this rolled out to more and more Android devices in the future, and even more so, I'm very interested to see how Apple responds. But for now, I'm going to bring things over to you guys. Do you think Apple is going to try and kill this feature in the next iOS update, or do you think they'll be forced to live with it now? And if you have a Pixel 10, have you tried this feature out yet? What do you think about it? If you're someone like me that uses a Mac alongside your Pixel, have you found this to be a positive experience like I have? Please let me know all of your insights down in the comments below, as I'm always super curious to hear what the Android community is thinking. Until next time, this has been Jordan Floyd with 9to5 Google. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.